Yo. I don't know. I don't know why I chose that sound to make at the top of this. Well, there's no going back. This is the Leal legacy.
Who's the leader of the pack, bringing legacy to you? Legacy-C-L-U-B, it's true. Stand up, gear up, join the fight. We're as fierce as we can be. With grit and might, we claim the night. We're the Legacy. Legacy Club. Legacy Club. Strong and unbreakable. Warriors with fire inside. In our hearts, we're invincible. Legacy Club.
You know, I could have very easily gone back and re-recorded that little intro snippet. But I didn't. I did not. And I think I'm okay with that choice. I think I'm okay with not doing that and just leaving it as it was, and just it kept it more real. It kept it more authentic. It kept it more true to who I am and what this is. My name is Justin. The Portuguese problem, Leal, a.k.a. the Azorian Nightmare, a.k.a. the Mouth of Madeira, a.k.a. the Tuga Terror. I haven't done that in a hot minute. Haven't gone through all my AKAs. Tuga Terror, that's a new one. Portuga is a reference to let's look it up actually. Portuga. 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 Wait a minute. Oh, I think, you know what? Let's look up Tuga. 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 Tuga is a popular informal term for a Portuguese person, derived from the word Portuga. But when I looked at Portuga, this didn't pop up. While it originated as a somewhat derogatory term, possibly during the 1960s colonial war, it has been embraced and adopted by Portuguese people themselves as a generalized, proud, and even friendly nickname, Tuga, from Portuga. It's weird that I looked at Portuga and it didn't pop up there, but you look up Tuga and it says it's derived from Portuga. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was something I picked up. The Tuga Terror. That's the latest AKA. AA. Hey. Oh, anyhow, this should have been done yesterday. I should have recorded this yesterday, but I didn't. Recording it guerrilla style now because I would like to work on other things. And so far that's working out. It's working out better than Frankensteining pieces, like snippets of recordings throughout the day. I'm not saying I won't do that moving forward still at times. But what I am saying is this guerrilla style recording at my computer while I'm working on other things has paid off. You know, the podcast has returned consistently on a weekly basis. I had that crazy idea of going daily, but you know, reality struck, and here we are. So I'm doing it weekly, committing to weekly for sure. And we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. My wife today painstakingly homified our dining room. Our dining room was nice and homey before, but she made it look even better. She gets these these bouts of inspiration where she'll tackle a room or something in the house and, revamp it, restylize it, make it, it evolves. That's the best way to put it. She evolves rooms systematically in our house, and it's very nice. So actually, I'm really thinking about bringing back a video element to this podcast once I'm caught up on everything else, because I need to get caught up. I need to get caught up. It's ridiculous how far behind I am on things. How many things how much footage I've shot and done nothing with, or how many new shirt designs I have just lying around. I'll come up with a design and I'll just file it away. I'm trying to beat that part of myself where I operate internally. I operate much faster than I can physically. So when I'm working on these designs and I get a cool collection completed, by the time the collection's completed, I'm just like, no thanks, I'm done. I'm moving on to the next. And I don't post it or make promo material for it or anything like that. I just move on to the next, and the world had not seen it. I'm sick of it, but it's new to the world. It's old to me, but new to the world. You know what I mean? So I'm really focused on follow through right now. That's my thing, follow through. I'm talking it out right now, so it's kind of just coming up in the moment. I have a follow through fortitude. That would be a good title for this episode. Let's see if I remember it. Tuga Terror. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm so backed up. I'm so backed up on things, but I'm getting caught up slowly, systematically. Fortitude, the focus, fortitude, follow through, fortitude, follow through, fortitude. That's what it is, right? See, I've already forgotten. But follow through, fortitude. If that wasn't it, it should be now. It might be the same thing. I don't know. I'm in a headspace, guys. I'm in a headspace that is gonna make this weird. Just letting you know up front at the tippy top of this, in case you're not ready for the ride. In case you're not ready for the ride. So yeah, I should have done this yesterday, but I didn't. Because this past weekend, was the CJI 2 Jiu-Jitsu tournament. The Craig Jones Invitational. I'm trying to find my computer charger. Hold on. I got a lot of cords on my desk. Hold on. That's the one I need. Hold on. Let me get... Oh, I hit the phone. Sorry. Let me get this plugged in. And we'll get back to what I was just saying. Can you hear all this? Can you hear all the rumbling going on? Come on, you're a magnetic connection. Just connect already. Where are you? There's that. There you go. That's how hard it was for me to plug my computer in. Anyhow, yeah, the Craig Jones Invitational 2, the second annual Craig Jones Invitational for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. No gi Jiu-Jitsu tournament. My personal favorite. I'm not a gi guy. I'm just not. For those of you who don't know what a gi is, though, that's like your stereotypical martial art pajama set. You got the jacket, you got the pants, you got the belt. It's like a robe. That's a gi. So, and that's like across many martial arts. No gi is exactly how it sounds. It's no gi. You're not wearing that outfit, that ensemble. You are, at least in jiu-jitsu, conventionally, no gi jiu-jitsu, you're wearing a rash guard and some fight shorts or something. You could put leggings underneath. I sometimes do. Now the leggings are beneficial to avoid mat burns, because you drag your flesh across the jiu-jitsu mat, and it much like a rug burn. It helps avoid that. And then, so it's a downfall and a benefit, but it makes you less slippery when sweating. You know what I mean? The long sleeve rash guard, at least. The short sleeve rash guards, and you can still be kind of slick after you get sweaty. But the long sleeves kind of prevent that, and it can work against you. You know, it might make it harder for you to pop your arm out of threatening positions or threatening situations. But it also, I personally think, it also helps to hold on to your opponent who may be slippery. Now, in my weight class, I'm like a feather to lightweight at best. So when I'm going up against dudes in my weight class, they are usually pretty thin. Can be, not always. Some of these are muscular individuals, but a little like thin featherweight can be hard to hold on to. Real slick. I'm thinking of one person in particular who I train with every week. His name is Angel. Angel. And that guy, let me tell you, that dude is slick. Like, one, he refuses to tap ever. Like, I think he may end up going unconscious one of these classes because he has a dedication to not tapping. And it makes me mad. It makes me mad because I'll have him in a choke. I'll have him in a choke that I feel very confident about in the moment. In the moment, I feel great. In the moment, I feel like I can end his life if he decides not to submit. Well, he can wait me out every single time. Every single time he can wait for my muscles to tire, and just the slightest little any sort of give that I present, any sort of like, you know, I intensify my muscles, and he's able to pop out, and it makes me mad every single time, always. Last class we had together, I had him in, I want to say some kind of like guillotine, but it wasn't very conventional. I'll say that, because when I looked, I could see his face still. And ideally, I would want his face to be down, but it wasn't. And I could see his face, and I looked down at him to see, like, are you choking? And he looked up at me and did that, like, eyebrow raise, kind of like the double, like, you know, where you double raise your eyebrows. He did that, and it made me mad, and he got out of the choke. But anyway, I digress. So, no-gi jiu-jitsu. Yeah, that was this weekend, and the big format was a team jiu-jitsu match, 5v5, where the coaches of each team would decide which of their fighters they would send out to face the chosen fighter of the opposing team. And it ranges anywhere from like lightweight to heavyweight to super heavyweight. So you could be someone my size, you know, somebody floating around. They did it in kilos, and I don't understand the conversion. So I'm going to say pounds. So somebody like around the 145 to 155 weight, that would be my competing weight. You could be 155 and then be paired up with some like 200-pound dude. So it's very all over the place, the matchups. And that was cool to see. That was cool to see because on more than one occasion, there was a much lighter combatant facing a much heavier combatant. And that very often is the case when I'm training. there's a lot of bigger guys down at Nashville MMA, and I find myself paired up to roll with them every class. And actually in my gi class, my coach insists that I am paired up with the biggest dude in the class. So, seeing how that came into play on like a professional competitive level, that was neat to see. I'm like, oh man, that's a thing. Because usually people are paired up by their age, their weight, try to make it as even as possible. Well, these pairings were not very even, to say the least. And it brought the whole idea of being the giant killer to my mind. So here, more about the 5-on-5. So each coach sends in a member of their squad. They just pick. They're like, I want this guy to go up against this guy. And in the finals, it was the B team versus the New Wave. The two different teams. One team was B team, the other team was New Wave. And B team sent in their heavyweight, the biggest dude they had on their lineup, and they paired him up against the smallest dude on the New Wave's lineup. And the smaller individual was 43 years old, and the larger, younger individual was like 28. So there was a significant age gap and a significant weight gap. Now, if there's no submission in the match, it's an 8-minute match. If there's no submission, it's a double elimination, and both combatants are no longer able to be utilized. If there is a submission, the submitting combatant stays and takes on the next person on the team's lineup. So they sent in the smallest dude to face the largest dude, and it was a double elimination, so nobody was submitted. But that took the biggest member of the B team off the board. It took both combatants off their respective team's lineup for this match. But, maybe you're sent in not necessarily to find the submission, but you're sent in to not be submitted and take the other person off the playing field. And that's what happened. They sent in the smallest dude, who ultimately just took the biggest guy off their lineup. Giant killer. That's what it was. So I had a lot of fun watching that this weekend. So that's all to say. That's why I was just too wrapped up in that. I was too wrapped up in that to record. The end. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I need water. Hold on. Refreshing. Oop. I kind of swallowed some air, and it turned into a burp, and I tried to hide it as well as I could, so hopefully you did not have to suffer through that. So anyway, I'm working on, I'm working on some Legacy by Leal stuff, some new designs I'm adding to the store right now, systematically. I've got 2 of these new designs for this collection already up and available. It's our Saints of the Silver Scream collection. You like that? Saints of the Silver Scream. Not screen, scream, because it's spooky. And these saints, done in a style of like Catholic saint praying cards. You ever seen those? It's based off that idea, but it's utilizing movie monsters. Hence, Saints of the Silver Scream. I got a Dracula version. I got a Frankenstein's monster version. I got a mummy version, which I just completed. And that's ready to be placed on apparel. I got a Bride of Frankenstein. I got a Wolfman. I got a Nosferatu. I got a Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera. Who else? I got a mole person. And then I got the whatchamadinger mutant from this island Earth. So it's gonna be a cool collection when all is said and done. Currently in the store right now at shop.leallegacy.com. I've got the Frankenstein monster version and Dracula already in the store. So go check that out. Go scope it out if you haven't already. I'm pretty proud of this collection. And hopefully it'll be well received. I have really no idea, ultimately, if people are going to like the same things I like. But like I said, right now I have our Saint Dracula of the Eternal Night. Because you're like the Catholic saints, it's always like Saint blah, blah, blah of yada, yada. Or Saint so-and-so, the patron saint of, yada, yada. So, got Saint Dracula of the Eternal Night, and then we have Saint Frankenstein, the Forsaken. And let me tell you, these designs are as prime as they get. As prime as they come. So, yeah, that's what I'm simultaneously working on all the while recording this episode. So we'll see. I'm feeling kind of weird, feeling kind of lightheaded a little bit, but we're going to work through it. We're going to push through. I guess this collection is ultimately, we can relate, since it's all movie monsters. I'm feeling like we can definitely relate it to being our Halloween release, or our Halloween drop, because that's what it's called in cool streetwear terms, a drop. So this is our spooky season drop. Oh no, I already feel myself being sucked in to distraction. Can I do this without ruining the recording? Sure I can. Anyhow. So what else? What else, guys? What else? What else is happening out there? Anything? Anything fun and exciting for you guys? I just completed the Mummy. Right now I'm working on the Bride of Frankenstein one. And if you know anything about me, you know I have a deep love for the Bride of Frankenstein. Frankenstein, that whole series. Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, House of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, all of those. I guess one could argue that Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster, is my favorite of the movie monsters. Which, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I like them all, though. I like them all. Dracula, not necessarily at the top of my list, because he's just kind of a guy. You know what I mean? He's a spooky guy, for sure. Vampire and whatnot, and like his abilities and such are very impressive. But he aesthetically, and I'm talking about like Bela Lugosi era, aesthetically, he's just a guy. You know? So I don't know. I like a more monstrous looking monster. Something along the lines of like a Frankenstein's monster or The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I have a version of that one as well. The Mummy was cool when he was a mummy, but like as he takes a more full living form, he became less cool looking, I think. The Invisible Man is also very cool. I have one of those. Did I say that? I have one of those too. So yeah, all that to be said, go scope it out. Go scope it out. Whoa. I'm losing it. Losing steam already. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? What am I trying to find? Oh, that's what I'm trying to find. That. Yeah, this is not a multi-thinking situation for me. It's not working out. It's okay, though. We are. What else, man? I don't even know what I want to talk about. No idea. No clue. It is officially, undeniably so. It's been spooky season for quite some time in our household. We like to kick off the spooky season in August. But now it's September, so there is no excuse for the spooky season slackers to not be jumping on board. Oh, I just hit my water cup. And actually, I need a sip. I want to put this in a more... Where can I put this? Put it in a more... Oh, that wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's very clangy. I wonder if you could have heard that. Oh, what else is going on? What else is happening? Oh, D23 also happened this last weekend. And they, it was a smaller D23. So D23 is like the Disney convention. And they do that every so often. Do they do that annually? I think they might do it annually. They do something annually, and it might be D23. But the big one, the big D23 convention, they do in Anaheim in the Disneyland vicinity. And the smaller one, ironically, they do closer to their bigger park, their Disney World parks. Oh, I gotta sit up. Oh, jeez. All right, let's see. So D23. I guess there's no space on that. D23 2025. Boop. So D23 this year was held at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Let's see what they dropped. I heard some stuff, but not everything. Walt Disney Studios Showcase was filled with Toy Story 5, Zootopia 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, Hexed, and much more. Let's see. Speaking of Toy Story, the clip involved a group of high-tech edition Buzz Lightyears getting stranded on an island and learning to work together and escape after they see a star that reminds them of Star Command. It was also revealed that Conan O'Brien will be playing a new potty training toy named Smarty Pants. Additionally, Toy Story will be returning to theaters on September 12th, and Buzz will once again fly in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So September 12th, I presume they mean of next year, because September 12th is very close. Toy Story 5, man. Toy Story 5. I just feel like, didn't we wrap that up? You know? Didn't we wrap that up? Toy Story 4 had quite the ending. It had a resolution, spoilers. It wrapped up Woody's story, I feel like. I guess Buzz, if it's a Buzz-centric story, you know, he's still owned by Bonnie. So I guess there's a storyline there. But Woody is now a lost toy and follows a carnival around, from what I understand of how Toy Story 4 ended. So how you reunite Woody with the rest of the group, I don't know. That's gonna be a interesting storyline on how that happens, presuming it happens. I've also heard rumor that and this may also be hearsay because I didn't see anything on this, but anyhow, it seemed like somewhere I heard that the Toy Story 5 was going to be a battle of like fighting for a child's attention up against like an iPad. You know what I mean? It's going to be like the losing kids to electronics kind of idea, which I thought would have been a pretty stellar concept to see play out, because I mean that's so true to life. Let's see. Hexed. Hexed is headed to theaters in November 2026 and follows an awkward teenage boy and his type A mom who discover that what makes him unusual might just be magical powers that will turn their lives and a secret world of magic upside down. Okay. That's cool. You know what's really disappointing? Was it the most recent? I don't know. The most recent Disney Animation Studios product was, I believe, Moana 2. And Moana 2 was all right. It was pretty all right. It was good. Good enough for a sequel. You know, we've seen it 700 times in our household because Maverick was very into it for a while. Was it as good as the first Moana? Nah, I wouldn't say so. But how often are sequels ever as strong as the original? Not often. The release before that, if I am not mistaken, was Wish. And boy, oh boy, I am not a fan of Wish. I thought the animation for Wish was unsettling, I guess would be the best word to use, although maybe too strong of a word to use. When I say unsettling, it wasn't like I don't know. It's the best word I can come up with, because it didn't appeal to me. It was too different from what they've been doing. And it was kind of like they tried to mix like traditional 2D animation with the new, or not even new, but like the modern day, like kind of three-dimensional-ish animation style, computer animation. I guess would be the best way to put that. It was like 2D meshed with computer animated, and it was just like, you know, it was kind of weird to look at, but I can get past that. But I can't get past the storyline. The storyline was, this like king who would take the wishes from people, like people's ambition. He would like take it away from them, so they didn't strive for greatness because they didn't know. They didn't know. They wanted to, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. Maybe not the best way to describe it, but that's kind of what I gathered from it. But I didn't like the underlined, like, kind of sub message of, like, this is where all the Disney fairy tales were inspired from. Like, this village or this kingdom that exists is where all the ideas for the Disney animated features, all the other ones, were pulled from. Like, they had a character who was supposed to emulate kind of Peter Pan. The main character, I'm forgetting her name, Asha. There you go, Asha. She like ultimately became the fairy godmother that is portrayed in Cinderella. The evil king got sucked into a mirror, and he became the face in the magic mirror from Snow White. Asha had 7 friends, or a group of friends. I don't know if it was 7, but she had a group of friends that were supposed to kind of like play as the inspiration of the 7 dwarves. Her grandfather, Asha's grandfather or something, wanted to be he wanted to write a song or be a musician or something, and at the end of the film, or at the end of the credits, or somewhere on the tail end of the film, he's sitting with his like little lute or string instrument of some kind, and he plays like the chord to When You Wish Upon a Star, and I was just like, oh my God. Insinuating like that's where You Wish Upon a Star or When You Wish Upon a Star came from. I don't know. It didn't sit well with me. It was all just kind of like, just trying too hard to correlate this to things that has no business being correlated to. So yeah, hopefully, and I think Hexed is a Disney animation studio project, I'm presuming. But anyhow, so yeah, that's something to look forward to, I guess. Let's see. Hoppers. We learned much more about Pixar's Hoppers, which follows a girl named Mabel who jumps into the mind of a beaver and has to work with other beavers and animals to stop Mayor Jerry from building a highway that will destroy all the nature and wilderness in its path. Okay, well, Pixar rarely misses. Other highlights included an extended look at Zootopia 2 and Patrick Warburton's hilarious Mayor Winddancer, a funny message from the set of Avengers Doomsday, an exciting clip from Tron Ares, the name of the Ice Age boiling plate for the next film in the franchise. That's kind of funny too. Disney is making the next Ice Age after it inherited Ice Age from their Fox acquisition. This next Ice Age is going to be the first Disney film, I believe, in that franchise. Let's see. And then a clip of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Last Straw, and more. All right. At Magic Kingdom, we discovered that the Tron Light Cycle ride will have a run overlay that will celebrate Tron Ares with a red overlay and 9-inch nails as the soundtrack. Tron to be remastered for the first time as well. Let's see, to celebrate Tron Ares, Disney Parks Tron attractions will be getting a red overlay and original music from Nine Inch Nails. This experience will be added to Walt Disney World's Tron Light Cycle run on September 15th and Shanghai Disney Resort's Tron Light Cycle Power Run on September 16th. Ew. Tron and Tron Legacy will also be fully remastered in 4K Ultra HD and will be available on digital and Blu-ray Steelbook on September 16th. Let's see. Dates revealed for D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event in 2016. That's going to be in Anaheim, California next year. So 2026, Anaheim, California, August 14th, 15th, and 16th. Let's see. Disneyland Handcrafted will give a never-before-seen look at the construction of Disneyland. Cool. We call it Imagineering's Leslie Iwerks stopped by Destination D23 to drop a new trailer for Disneyland Handcrafted, which documents the construction of Disneyland in a way never seen before. The film will debut on Disney Plus and Disney's YouTube later this winter, but fans can check out a look at the trailer right now. I'm not going to do that right now. But that's really cool. I think it's really cool that Leslie Iwerks, an heir of Iwerks, I think it's his granddaughter maybe, is still deeply tied into Disney. So we got the Iwerks legacy still deeply embedded in Disney. This was a fun one. This is something that struck me as interesting. Walt Disney is being added to Carousel of Progress. Following Walt Disney, A Magical Life at Disneyland, the animatronic Walt Disney that you could find in the same show area as I think Moments with Mr. Lincoln. Is that what it's called? The weird Disney animatronic that does not necessarily look like Disney, at least when translated to photo and video. I haven't done it. I haven't experienced the show, the attraction. There you go. I haven't experienced that attraction firsthand with the animatronic Disney, but from what I have seen, not the most flattering likeness to Walt Disney that ideally it should have been. I don't know. Let's see. But let's see. Walt will now introduce Carousel of Progress in a new scene, and guests will then witness 4 scenes to see what John, Sarah, Rover, and the rest of the family have been up to over the decades while witnessing the evolution of life in the United States. So that's essentially what Carousel of Progress already is. It's going through decades and being introduced to the technological advancements decade to decade. Now, the attraction itself, you sit in like this like auditorium kind of theater sort of thing, and I believe where you're sitting rotates around a stage, where as the seats rotate, you're going to the different various scenes of, the represented decade. I guess there must be like a vacant slot on that rotation that they're going to be able to add Walt to, because I don't know. I hope they don't take away any of the current scenes. It'd be nice if they just added to it, but I guess we'll see. There would have to be a gap on the attraction where this can be added into. Otherwise, they're going to have to replace one of the earliest scene, I guess, or maybe a middle scene in there somewhere. They're going to have to replace one of the scenes with this new Walt Disney introduction, but I don't know. We'll see. All I hope ultimately is that this Walt animatronic is a better representation than the one they have at Disneyland. We'll see. And again, I'm saying this from a standpoint of somebody who hasn't experienced that attraction, but I have not seen any third hand or second hand representation that is like filled me with confidence. Let's see. Themed drinks headed to Disney Destiny. I don't really have any interest in that. It's like the cruise line stuff. I don't know. I'm just not wowed by the cruise line stuff. Let's see. Walt Disney World's Villains theme land to utilize conjured architecture inspirations revealed. Wait, Walt Disney World's Villains themed land to utilize conjured architecture inspirations revealed. Okay. So they just they showed a bunch of photos from around the world that are inspiring, or that they're using as inspiration for the architecture of this new Villains land. Let's see. We got a wicked tease of the upcoming Villains-themed land at Walt Disney World, including that the team created the term conjured architecture to describe how they are utilizing the magic-fueled and organic appearance of both the animated villains and the art Nouveau, Art Nouveau, Nouveau. How do you say that? The Art Nouveau style of construction to build this new space. This was all made possible by a research trip to Paris and Barcelona to study Art Nouveau. I keep saying it that way. I hope it's right. From Paris, they took with them the way natural motifs and swirling designs there make nature appear to be cursed, like magic has frozen it into place. I probably read that in a weird way, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. For Barcelona, its style was actually called modernized or modernism. And it has less natural patterns, but gives architecture an otherworldly, unnerving appearance. May even be added that the buildings seem as though they are melting with subliminal shapes and faces. Okay. So the villains land coming to Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. I'm excited about that. I think that's going to be really, really neat. It's not going to be done for quite some time because, building an entire land is quite the undertaking. It took them a long time to finish. I don't know. That kind of was as a result of like the pandemic and stuff that, that threw a wrench in a lot of the updates that were announced some time ago. But it felt like they were building Tron for a really long time. The Ratatouille ride and Guardians of the Galaxy rides, those felt like they came a bit faster. But again, I don't know. Who knows how long that those were really in the works. It just feels like an entire land is going to take quite a bit of time. But I don't know. Who knows? For a while there, and even still today, my wife and I are firm believers that a villain's land could have just as easily been an entire villain's park. But then I thought about it a little more, and the heroes, the princesses and such, they only have a land themselves. It's really just fantasy land at Magic Kingdom and Disneyland, where you'll find like all the, the Little Mermaid ride, the Winnie the Pooh ride. Well, the Winnie the Pooh ride in Disneyland's in Critter Country, and in Magic Kingdom, I feel like that's considered Fantasyland over there. I'm pretty confident it is. But that's where they had like the Peter Pan ride, Snow White, all those kind of things. In Disneyland, they have a Snow White ride. In Disney World, Magic Kingdom, they have a Seven Dwarfs ride, which, I mean, essentially it's the exact same like idea. It's a very different ride, but it's still representing one of the Disney fairy tales. So after thinking about that, it was like they probably saw, well, we have Fantasyland for the good guys. They don't have their own entire park, so would the villains need an entire park per se? Or would a land be good enough? And yeah, I guess the contrast to Fantasyland would be a villain's land. You know what I mean? Having an entire park, although it would be very, very cool. Having an entire park dedicated to the Disney villains may be, there would be an imbalance there. Even Universal Studios, they don't have an entire park dedicated to the Universal monsters. They have what you could equate to one of the lands at Magic Kingdom or Disney World. They have a land dedicated to the Universal monsters at Epic Universe. They have Dark Universe. I think that's what it's called. So even they don't give their dark characters an entire park. They just gave them a portion of a park, which, stands to reason why Disney would give their villains a portion of a park and not just, not an entire park, dedicated to them alone. So I made sense of that. Although I would very, very much like to see, it would have been really cool to have an entire park dedicated to villains. But hey, you know what? That's just me and my wife, apparently. Another thing, Cinderella's castle is getting painted yet again. Cinderella Castle getting new colors that harken back to its original look. The original look to Cinderella's castle was very blue, gray, white. That was the color pattern, some gold maybe. And then Disneyland, Sleeping Beauty's castle, had a pink touch to it. Or has a pink touch to it. I can't really for the life of me remember if in my lifetime Sleeping Beauty's castle was always pink. As far as I can recollect right now, it's always had a pink hue to it. But ultimately they made Cinderella's castle resemble Sleeping Beauty's castle. So they added like the pink vibe to it, and I guess it faced a lot of backlash. They were just like, "What are you doing? That's not how Cinderella's castle is supposed to look." My family, we've been to Disney World, we've been to Magic Kingdom when before Cinderella's castle was updated to reflect the same aesthetic as Sleeping Beauty's castle. So I do remember seeing the OG Cinderella's castle aesthetic before, but in the last handful of times we've been there, it's been that pink. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head when they made that change. Let's see. Fans were delighted to learn that Disney World's Cinderella's Castle is getting a look that is inspired by the classic and original look of the castle. This new paint scheme, which is still being finalized, will feature grays, creams, blues, and touches of gold, aiming to enhance the castle's architecture. I mean, whatever. I think that's cool. I do still think of Cinderella's castle being the grays and the blues and that kind of color scheme when I think about the castle, even though that's not really how the castle looks to this day or in this day. So that was that. From that site, at least. Let's check another website. Excuse me. So sorry. My apologies. Is there anything else just as interesting? Oh, this site has much more stuff. Let's see. We talked about the Villain's Land. Kuzatopia brings rare characters and experience to Typhoon Lagoon. I've never been to Typhoon Lagoon. All right, let's see. Tron, we saw that. 25 new menu items coming to Jollywood Nights. I'm not super sucked into that. Moana replacing Tahitian Terrace announced for Hong Kong Disneyland. That doesn't affect me at all. Breaking Holiday Zombie Mug coming to Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar and Grotto. Well, zombie tiki mugs, that's pretty fun. Breaking Disneyland handcrafted trailer. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Okay. Yeah, we pretty much touched on everything that all the major announcements, all the major points they hit at this year's D23. So there we go. There we are. Lots of fun stuff coming down the pipe at all the parks. They also have the Encanto and Zootopia. Well, the Encanto area they're adding to Disney's Animal Kingdom in the near-ish future. And then they're doing a Zootopia attraction that's been kind of understood and known. Pairing with the Villain's Land, they're adding like a whole Beyond Thunder Mountain Cars kind of ride. Well, definitely a Cars ride, but I don't know if they're going to do like a Cars Land similar to what they have over in Disney's California Adventure. I just understand that it's like it's a Cars themed ride, kind of like what they have at Disney's California Adventure, but it's like not the same. This one's going to be like an off-roading cars ride, to my understanding. So it doesn't really seem like they talk too much about that. I still don't think that's a very, exciting idea. It'll be neat to see. But I talked about that before, about like how I kind of feel like all the Pixar IPs should be placed in Disney Hollywood Studios, kind of like they are at Disney's California Adventure. But then I talked myself into accepting that Pixar properties being in Magic Kingdom makes sense in case you don't get to go to Disney's Hollywood Studios. You know what I mean? You go to Disneyland and you can do a park hopper and go to Disneyland and California Adventure, because they're like literally right across from one another, so you could walk in between the two parks in the same day and really kind of get a decent vibe for both the parks. I mean, it's definitely, I would always say, go more than one day if you can, and give each park a full day experience if you can. But if you can't, then get that park hopper so you get a taste of both. You do the park hopper over at Disney World, it's a little more challenging because all the parks are like really spaced out from one another. I would argue though that, a couple of the parks in Disney World, i.e. Disney's Animal Kingdom and Disney's Hollywood Studios, are not necessarily full day parks. I mean, our family spends the full day there because like we try to get in as much of the experiences as we possibly can throughout the day. But like if we lived closer and we were annual pass holders, like I could definitely see, Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios being like half day parks, if that, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just a personal preference. I do definitely stand by, if you say Animal Kingdom is your favorite Disney World park, then you can't be trusted. Like that's just a dishonest opinion. There's no way. And to add to that, if you're a Disney individual by any stretch, then you are familiar with Joffrey's coffee. Joffrey's coffee is like the coffee of the Disney parks, and people seem to love it. People need to get their Joffrey's fix. Like other Disney adults on their podcasts or YouTube channels and whatnot, they're always like, I got to get my Joffrey's, got my Joffrey's so I can, go about my day. Here we are. My wife and I both adamantly feel like Joffrey's coffee tastes like butt. Butt may actually taste better than Joffrey's coffee. So much like someone saying that Animal Kingdom is their favorite Disney World park, if you're somebody who says you like Joffrey's coffee, or dare I say love Joffrey's coffee, there's something questionable about you. I don't trust this. Either you have a wretched palate, or you're saying that just to fit in. You're just being a Disney hipster when you say you love Joffrey's coffee. And I stand by that because it tastes like butt. Anyhow, I think we've done it. What do we talk about? We talked about my being consumed by the CJI2 tournament this weekend, Jiu-Jitsu tournament. We talked about what we got going on at Legacy by Leal with our Saints of the Silver Scream collection dropping for this spooky season. And then we dove into some D23 stuff. Wow. It came full circle. That's probably not the right thing to say, but you know what? It definitely shaped up to be an episode. Another one in the books. Here it is. Didn't do it yesterday like I've conventionally been aiming to do, but you know what? it was a holiday today, so I could even just say like, yeah, an episode didn't come out today because it was a holiday. I could say that, but that would be dishonest. I was just, engulfed in Jiu-Jitsu all weekend. So, anyhow, hey. Plug time. Do me a favor, if you don't mind, and go visit leallegacy.com, Leal legacy.com, and scope out all the other killer content we have available for you, including our Legacy of Leal family vlog, which we have a new video going up to that channel this week. It's a video of a couple of our days experiencing what there is to offer at Disney Springs down in Walt Disney World. So keep a lookout for that video on our Legacy of Leal channels. Scope out what we have on our Leal Legacy View channel. Just today I posted a new video to that channel of a complete POV queue and ride through for Toy Story Mania over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. More from this podcast, past episodes, past video episodes, and all of our commentary archive can be available in our The Leal Legacy section on our website. And then lastly, but maybe most importantly, if you like what we're doing here, if you want to show some support, please do by scoping out our Legacy by Leal store. Just hit the shop tab. I believe it's shop. Let's go see. Let's see what it says on the website. It says shop. Click the shop tab over at leallegacy.com and check out everything we got going on from Legacy by Leal. You can, if you're a Disney adult or a Disnerd of any kind, we have a whole bunch of Disney inspired or Disney tribute designs in our store. Most notably right now, our previous collection drop. It's our neo-traditional Disney Parks series, where we got neo-traditional tattoo tributes to the 6 Disney Park or United States Disney Park icons, i.e. Cinderella's Castle, Sleeping Beauty's Castle, Spaceship Earth from Epcot, Hollywood, Tower Hotel from Disney's Hollywood Studios, and the Tree of Life from Disney Animal Kingdom, and the Pixar Pal Around Ferris wheel, of course, as a tribute to Disney's California Adventure. Scope out those. And then we also have neo-traditional tattoo design tributes for all the lands, all the individual lands from Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. So Tomorrowland, Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, Toontown, Main Street USA, New Orleans Square, Liberty Square, and Critter Country. So check all that out. Check that out. Pick yourself up something nice, or pick up something nice for a friend of yours. All orders, $75 or more, get free shipping. So you get 3 shirts, you got free shipping. You get, a couple shirts and a hoodie, you got free shipping. Mix and match, whatever you want. If it's $75 or more, you get some free shipping. And if you want more, if you want more fun, promotions or sales opportunities or what have you, join for free our Legacy Club. If you go to leallegacy.com, at the very, very bottom of that home page, you can join our Legacy Club. Just click join today, enter your email address, and be the first to know about new podcasts, blogs, videos, music, and merch. So you just get a notified heads up. I'm really I'm really anti-social media these days. I still post to social media platforms, but I don't feel like, unless you're finagling and finessing that algorithm, who knows if anyone's actually going to see? And if people don't interact, you just get lost. You just get lost into the social media void. Well, I personally think that instead of social media, everyone should just build their own website. If you got something to sell, if you got something to say, if you got something you want the rest of the world to experience, having your own website is vastly superior to fighting the cesspool that is social media on all platforms, Instagram, X, Facebook, what have you. So I like to encourage people just to visit our site, because anything you'll see on social media, anything you'll see on YouTube, anything you'll see anywhere related to Leal Legacy is all in that one place. You know what I mean? And if you join our Legacy Club, instead of hoping you come across one of our posts on Instagram or X or whatever social media platform you frequent, instead of hoping you see what we got going on, just come straight to the source. Come straight to the source, join the Legacy Club, and I will send you directly, notify you directly of like, hey, check out this new such and such we have going on. And then if you join the Legacy Club too, included in those posts or new content notifications will include, further discount opportunities or promotions for our Legacy by Leal store. So just join the club. It's absolutely free. Just helps. It helps really show who out there is interested in what we're doing. Other ways you could help if you don't feel like anything in our store speaks to you, but you like what we're doing. Well, you know what? The whole word of mouth thing is still the most effective way to support. Just tell a friend. Say, hey, go check these people out over at leallegacy.com. Or, just jump on YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, all those things. All those things that help us fight the algorithm. You can do that as well, but mostly being a friend and telling a friend just to come straight to the source, leallegacy.com, is ultimately and always the most effective way to help us out. So that being said, thank you for being a friend and telling a friend, and I will catch you later. See ya.